You'd be surprised at how many times we hear clients that are really low, flat, unmotivated, team members, etc. Well, you know what, guys? It starts with yourself. And I'm going to explain how easy it is to make sure that we're always energized and not empty. So let's get stuck in right now. So this is really an interesting topic that probably, I guess it's polar opposites. It's always spoken about probably way too much, but also not enough. And I better explain that because that doesn't make sense, I know. But look, we always hear a lot about motivation, probably too much, and that's half the problem, right? We always hear about you got to be motivated, and it starts with yourself, and you got to be inspiring, and I know that I'm saying that with a certain tonality, and I'm being quite facetious about it as well. But when we think about it, it's everywhere. We're always got to be this, we've got to be that, you've got to be the leader, you've got to be, I mean, let's not get into the fact that most of the people that talk about leadership actually don't actually know what it's about themselves, and they're actually neglecting the fact that you need to be a better manager before you can even think about leadership. But that's a topic for another time. The fact of the matter is, we hear about it all way too much. But we don't then hear about it near enough for the right reasons in the right way. So we get told that we need to be motivated. We get told to do what we love. We get told that we've got to turn up with all our clients and be energized and all this type of stuff. But we don't ever actually get a context of how. We don't ever actually get that little bit of accountability to show us exactly when we're dipping a little bit and need a bit of a pick-me-up. I guess let me explain it this way. We always wanting to be able to attract, we're wanting to be able to convert, we're wanting to be able to deliver, and we're wanting to be able to scale. So inside our Genius model, that's it's literally the only business development, health business development model that has won 5 international business awards. I'm very, very proud of that. And damn right, so we should be. We have our 9 accelerators. And so inside the attract side, it's all about the referrals, retention, reactivation. And then when we start to, and you can see it, might be able to see it up here on the board as well, we start to look at our pathway and customer experience and those things. And we talk about our technology and our rockstar team. And we've got all of that in place. So it's all about attract, convert, deliver, and scale. Now, depending on what level of business you're at, how many team members you have, what your revenues and things like that are, will depend on what area you need to focus on at any given point of your growth and scale journey. But regardless of where you're at, regardless of whether you're a $150,000 a year sole trader or you're a $3.65 million business with, dozens of team members like we've got with clients as well, it doesn't matter where you're at, because if you were to draw overlapping circles, one circle starts smaller, then another one a bit bigger and a bit bigger and a bit bigger and a bit bigger, you're going to have 4 circles. Attract, convert, deliver, and scale. But what if I said to you right now, you're actually going to have 5? Because the first one, the smallest one, is actually self. You've got a small circle with self in the middle. Then the next one is a bit bigger for attract. Then the next one, convert, then deliver, then scale. You actually have 5 overlapping circles here. And so what you're actually, and for those that are watching visually, it might be a bit easy to see, but for those that are listening audio-wise as the podcast, then it's going to be a little bit harder. I'm sure you can put that together. Draw a little circle in your mind, then where it is at the bottom, draw a bigger circle that's a bit bigger and overlaps above it type of thing, and another one. And you end up having 5 circles. So regardless of whether you're working at a lower level and needing to attract and get more clients and grow the business with new clients and better retention, etc., or whether you're a $2 million health medical business that needs to work more on the efficiencies and team growth culture, right? Doesn't matter. It might be a complete scale project that you're working on. You're about to open your 3rd clinic. It doesn't matter whether you're in the 5th circle or the 2nd circle. The fact is the first circle is always going to be self. And on the left-hand side is what we'd write in red. And we'd write in there the bad stuff, what we don't want. And on the other side, on the right-hand side, in say green is good, right? So if you think about that, we're trying to go from empty to energy. We need to make sure that it always starts with us first and foremost. Whether you're trying to attract more clients, whether you're doing marketing, whether you're doing sales, whether you're doing operations, whether you're doing team, whether we're doing technology, client matrix, customer experience, it doesn't matter. It always starts with you, okay? Or me in my situation. You've got to make sure that you don't turn up flat. You've always got to make sure that you aren't running on empty. We need to make sure that we get the right stimulus. We need to get the right sleep. We need the right habits in place. We need the right learnings. All of those avenues are the first part that needs to be in place. Because ultimately, if you look on the right-hand side in green, we need to come with energy. We need to come with vigor. We need to be the person that's, moving everything forward. Let me ask you this one question right now. How inspired have you been in the last week out of 10, right? How inspired have you been out of 10 in the last week? Now, different people are going to be 3 or 4, are going to be flat. Other people are going to be 9 and 10 jumping out of their skin. But let me now ask you an even more important question. How inspiring have you been in the last week? And when we do this and ask clients, the vast majority of times, they might be 7 or 8, for instance, or maybe 9 on being inspired. But how inspiring are they? If they're being open and honest, most people think about 5 or 6. And the vast majority of time, about 80 to 90% of the time, people will always put themselves as being more inspired than inspiring. And that in itself is the catalyst for challenges and the speed bumps that are going to come in the days, weeks, and months ahead. This is all about you being more inspiring than inspired. And identifying that is really, really crucial in any type of health or business growth journey. You've got to make sure that you're more inspiring than being inspired. And so how do we do this, Jace? Well, I'm glad you asked. One of the things that you have to stop and think about is you have to stop and think about your habits, and you have to stop and think about a thing that we call the dirty 30. What's like the next 30 days, the dirty reps that you just have to get done, right? You can't get a good set of abs if you don't do the reps. You can't get big biceps if you don't do the reps. You can't, get a big Beyonce booty type thing if you don't do the squats, right? You got to do the reps. That Beyonce reference is obviously something from a in-house joke from a webinar a few weeks ago with our clients about the bigger Beyonce bigger booty running program or something. Anyway, let's move on. The fact is this, we need to be able to get the dirty reps done. All right. It's like the Navy SEAL training. They don't have to stand out there in the rain and hold things above their head and do that type of stuff and do the reps. It's about the discipline of it. It's about what it starts and creates. And so in this situation, this is not about you identifying, oh, I'm flat, quick. What's the hidden secret? What's the magic potion I can drink to turn into energy and inspiring? That's not it. And if that's what you think, you've missed the whole point. What this is about your habits. It's about your dirty 30. What are you doing the dirty reps over the next 30 days to make sure it becomes habit? To make sure that you are inspired and inspiring each and every day. Is it that you have to get up and do your exercise first in the morning? Is it that you get up and drink a liter of water? Like I love doing that. Get up in the morning and drink at least 600 mils of water before I even go to the toilet or have a shower. That's just what I do. I think it rehydrates me. It gets my cells moving. It makes me feel better. No dry mouth, etc. Right? We've all going to have these habits that we need to be able to work on. I make sure that I go through and I have things in place so I can delegate and leverage team members' tasks out that overseas in some of my other businesses. I get that done. I make sure I get some exercise done first up. I make sure that I get my learnings done first up so that I'm coming with fresh ideas, a different approach. It's that tap on the shoulder. Hey, Jace, remember that you've got to blah, 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 blah. Or it's, hey, what about this with, and it pre-frames my thought processes, my ideas. It lifts your energy and it motivates you. And so this isn't about airy-fairy, kumbaya, rainbows, jelly beans, unicorns, and motivation, rah-rah. This is about the fact of let's identify what it is you specifically need to do, you have to do, and how you can move forward. Well, here's the scenario. Rate yourself out of 10 right now. Go back to what I asked you before. How inspired have you been in the last week? Out of 10. And how inspiring have you been? Because you should always be more inspiring than inspired. And regardless of what it is, ultimately, we need to get into that dirty reps. What are the dirty reps? What are the habits that we need to bring back in place to make sure that you show up? You show up with energy and vigor, and you are motivated for every client. Because if you're a little bit flat, even just 10 or 20% off the ball, clients see it. They feel it. There's not as much energy. They're not as pumped to get things done and move forward. And this isn't saying that you have to be bouncing off the walls and acting like you've got all sugar highs and too much caffeine. It's not at all. It's about you showing up. It's about you giving your all the time. And if you're only 20% off the ball, clients know it. They feel it. They see it. And when they see it and they feel it, it becomes a slippery slope. Accountability's not there. Responsibility's not there. They're not as engaged. And as a net result, you won't get as good an outcome. So you need to show up all the time. You need to be a big, bad, inspiring, motivated demon with everything you do. And so this isn't about what's the one thing you can do to pick yourself up. This is about the stuff that we need to be bigger and better and more inspiring. And it starts with us, regardless of whether you're a small one-man band or a big 36 team member business. It doesn't matter. It always starts with the smallest circle being about the self before we can even think about attract, convert, deliver, or scale. So think about that right now. How are you showing up? How inspiring are you being? How inspired are you? What's it gonna take on a daily basis as habits and that habitual behavioral change to make sure that you're always going from empty to energy? Because it's about the energy. It's about yourself first and foremost, and having that higher level of inspiring motivational quality all the time to show up and to really be rocking and be present, not just present. I'll talk to you again very soon. Hey guys, thank you very much for listening to another episode of the Profitable Practice Podcast. I would love nothing more than for you to be able to leave a review. I get so much joy out of listening and reading the amazing things that you guys say about this. So please subscribe to our channel, leave a review, and share it with your friends. Let's get some more fantastic information out there so all of us can grow the industry together. Cheers for now.